All right, everybody, how are you doing? Excited for you to be with us today. We've got a lot to talk about because we're going to be jumping into the mindset of a real estate investor. And this is one of the most important topics we could be talking about because what happens up here is going to make or break you as a real estate investor. And I see a lot of people get super excited about real estate investing and they're like, I want to go do this. And I'm going to be an amazing investor. And a few weeks or a few months later, they've given up on that. Usually, what happens is they get met with some type of resistance. There's some type of challenge, there's some type of problem. And if you don't have the mental fortitude to work through that, it doesn't matter if you're doing real estate investing or stock investing or drop shipping or whatever you're doing, you're never going to have the success with anything in life if you don't have that fortitude to go through the hardships or the challenges what happen, because the first thing that happens is you're going to be met with some obstacles and some pretty serious obstacles. And I don't know exactly what those obstacles are, because it's going to be different for everyone. But you are going to be met with some obstacles, and how you handle those obstacles is what's going to make or break you as a real estate investor. And so as we talk about this whole mindset of a real estate investor, that's what we're going to be diving into today. All right, guys, that's what it's all about here. The mindset of a successful real estate investor. Thank you for being with me today. Some of the things we're going to be learning, some of the things we're going to be talking about is we always, if you're new and you're joining us, thank you for being here. But every single week we talk about a finding tip. And it's something you can go and do today. And today's finding tip is running into properties. So you're going to want to see this one. Then we're going to get into the traits you need to have to be successful and what those traits actually are and what you're going to need to do. We're going to talk about how failure actually helps you succeed in real estate investing. I'm going to talk about some inspirational stories of success and failure and things that you need to really be thinking about here. So, when you walk away with today, you're going to have those things. All right, guys, welcome and updates is the first thing. That's what we're doing right now from the agenda. We're jumping into the real estate news next. Then we'll go through our finding top of the week, which we talked about running into properties. Then we go through our main topic of the week, which is that mindset of a successful real estate investor. As always, I've got my t-shirt giveaway, and love to see in one of our t-shirts. I also give away a free tool of the week, and we'll give that away here towards the end. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Before you make any financial moves, you're going to want to consult with a professional in the subject matter. Everybody's situation is different. There is no one size fits all. DHM may receive payment on the show for sponsors in the form of guests, books, items, discounts, or other remediations. As with anything in life, results come from education, following a system, hard work, and a determination to follow through until the end. Welcome, welcome. Please, if you have not already, and it doesn't look like many of you have, please give me your name and the city and state where you're wanting to invest in or where you are investing in. Just type it in the comments, and type it into the chat if you're listening here live. I tailor a lot of stuff to who's with us and what your needs are. If you're watching this as a recorded video, please join us live every single Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do this live cast. And one of the big benefits of being here live is you can ask questions. For example, you could type something in the chat, and I would get that answered for you. So big thank you to Cynthia Brown from Durham, North Carolina. Thank you for being with us today, Cynthia. I appreciate it. Let's see here. I don't know what just happened there. So let's get back to our slides. And it looks like you can't see me. Give me one second, guys. Something just disappeared. Just in the present mode. Let me know if you can see my slides. It looks like we're having a little issue here. Want to get those going for you. So if you can just type it in the chat, then I'll have an idea of what's going on there. We've got our t-shirt giveaway. We're going to be giving away a shirt every single week. And at the end of each live cast, we'll announce who the winner is. So for last week's winners, we've already got it in the slides. We're going to be announcing that. And then for next week's winner, it's what you're competing for today. Let's see here. So let's jump into this. Okay, guys. So here's a couple of, when you do get a shirt, you front working. Maybe you guys can't hear me right now. If you can hear me, let me know that you can hear me. Otherwise, let's interesting. I don't know if you can see me or hear me. Let's see what is going on right now. I want to go through the t-shirt winner. Okay. Can you see the screen? You can hear me, but can you see the screen? So if I'm doing my front cam, I got nothing. Yeah, or anything. We can see you. Awesome. Can you see my slides? So I don't know what they're saying. I guess it's not working down here then, which is cool. We can just bring that over. Okay, I think we're up. Jordan the Amazing just got us all rocking here. So he didn't want to stay and say hi, unfortunately. But it looks like we got it going now. We got it going on. Let's see here. I gotta move this over. Okay, well, let's jump back to the front cam. Okay, so here's some of our shirts. If you're new with us, you haven't seen this. This is our I Made It Through Rehab shirt. This is our Flippin' Legends Summer Edition shirt. This is our Fall Edition or half short sleeve, 3/4 sleeves. This is our Flippin' Legend Baseball Edition. And if you have not seen it, our original is the I Flippin' Did It. And I'm excited to tell you we've got a new shirt in the works. So you're going to have to wait and see what that new shirt looks like. But I'll be showing that here in a couple of weeks, I'm thinking. If you've got a great idea for a shirt, type it in the comments because I would love to see that. And if we end up making a shirt with your idea, I will send you a copy of, or I'll send you a shirt for yourself to enjoy. Now, if you do get a shirt, please take a photo of it and put it on our Facebook page because we love seeing you guys. So what you got to do is post a pic on our Facebook page. Just go to facebook.com/DoHardMoney and you can post it on our page there because we'd love to see it. Now, the question I always get asked is, how do you decide who wins the free shirt? Well, I'm looking for people that ask great questions. I'm looking for high interaction. I'm looking for people to make comments on the recorded videos. So with that in mind, I need to give some shout outs. I've got a few people we need to shout out here. So let's see here. Cynthia already did from Durham, North Carolina. Thank you for being with us. We've got Roger here from Covington, Georgia. Appreciate you being here. We've got Ronald from Rolling Meadows, Illinois. Thanks for being with us, Ronald. I really appreciate it. Cynthia, you can hear me. Awesome. Ronald can hear me. Great. Everybody's like, we can hear you. It showed me it wasn't working, so I just didn't know. So I appreciate it. A wild, little difficult for entry-level investor, but I think I'm going to work it out. A little hard. Yeah. Well, Roger, if you got some questions, I'd love to help answer those for you. Cynthia says, yeah, we can see you. Let us hear. Yeah. What shirt do you guys like? All these shirts we just went over. What's your favorite shirt? Type it in the comments. I'd certainly love to hear about it. Covington, Georgia is 35 miles east of Atlanta. Gotcha. Yeah. Let me know how I can help you there, Roger. I'd love to help you out. All right, guys, we'll choose a winner of the week. And so we'll be announcing this week's winner next week, but we'll be announcing last week's winner at the end of our show today. If you like these live casts and you want to see them continue, I really need your help, guys. This is amazing content we put together on a weekly basis. There's a lot of work. If you haven't seen our studio already, I've got a few videos where I've done those. I'm currently at 5,460 subscribers, and my goal for May was to end up at 5,000. And so I really wanted to, I'm sorry, the end of June was to end up at 5,500. So we've got 40 more to go. So I really need your help. Every single day I upload a new video, and these are just short videos. They're anywhere from like 2 to 10 minutes. And so there's this one's on house flipping partnership agreements. I've got one on deed in lieu of foreclosure versus short sales, but I do these every single day so that you can get specific questions answered. And as a matter of fact, if you've got a question you'd like to have me answer, you can type a comment in one of these videos. And what I will do is I will create a video just like that for you and for all my other wonderful subscribers so you can enjoy those. Okay, guys, if you haven't already, please hit that thumbs up button and hit the subscribe button. And as a matter of fact, if you're a new subscriber to our channel, type it in the comments because I want to give a special shout out to you and thank you for being here. Also, leave a comment on the recorded video, and the biggest compliment you can give me is telling someone else about this live cast. I would love to have you do that. Today, I like to give something away every single week. It's absolutely free. It's to help you in your real estate investing. And I spent a lot of time and put a book together. You can buy it at Barnes & Noble or Borders or Amazon for 25 bucks. Or if you'd like to get an e-copy, an electronic copy of it, I'll send it to you absolutely for free. It's called How to Get More Money You Can Never Handle, a real estate investor's guide to funding deals. I'll be giving away the link to download this book at the end of the live cast today. So you want to hang on and I will get you a link where you can get a copy of that. Also, love to know what shirts you guys like because we're trying to make some decisions on some shirts and would love your feedback. Okay, guys, let's jump into the real estate market updates. We're talking about what's happening in the real estate market. So this is interesting, guys. This is the first signs I have heard of this, and I want to know if you're seeing this in your area. According to Realtor.com, pending home sales sink as housing market falls back to earth. An indication of existing home sales fell in April, suggesting that the housing market could be cooling in the face of home prices. Now, keep in mind here, could be cooling. Pending home sales dropped 4.4% in April compared with March, the National Association of Realtors said. On an annual basis, pending home sales were up nearly 52%. So there could be some cooling. It's not really here yet, but it's something we need to keep in mind, which would actually be a good thing. In tight housing markets, thousands of homes are reserved for certain buyers. Get this. Real estate agents are selling more homes to selected customers by bypassing the public market. These are private sales. They're known as pocket listings or whisper listings. I've never heard them referred to as whisper. I've always referred to them as pocket listings, and they've been around for many years. Pocket listings accounted for 3% of sales on average in the year ending in March, up 2.6% of sales in the year ending March 2020. So basically, the idea of a pocket listing is somebody says, I'm interested in selling my property, but I don't want to put it on the open market. So what they do is they have a real estate agent that says, hey, I'll help you sell the house if I get this price. Are you willing to sell it? And they say yes, which is really good for an agent because he's going to then go charge a buyer to secure a property for him and may get paid a premium for finding a property for them. And he is able to make some transactions happen. This can also work with real estate investors, but you've got to be careful that you're working with the right real estate agent in finding these properties. Okay, Fox Business says, here's when the housing market will cool off. Experts don't expect to slow down until late autumn. Even then, home prices will remain high, according to Dr. Lawrence Yun. He's the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors. And by then, more construction homes will be coming onto the market. One of the concerns I do have with that is the supply chain. So I was talking to a big builder. They're having problems getting paint for houses. And they're like, we can put some more houses on the market, but we don't have paint because they're struggling to get paint supply, which is interesting. For those who are willing to wait, more choices will be available, but home prices and mortgage rates are likely to be higher. Okay, Toronto real estate market remains hot but shows first signs of cooling. Home sales in April were down 12.7% from month prior. Average selling price down slightly. Well, the first 3 months of the year were full of bidding wars, soaring prices, and a mad scramble to snatch up any available homes. Toronto real estate broker Win Lai says she's been seeing conditions cooling down, which is interesting to see that in the Toronto market. How to survive inflation. This is the opposite concern here of what's going to happen as we started to dump some money. The government started to dump some money into the market. What's going to be happening is concerns of inflation. So the question is, what can I do to bridge the gap of inflation? And one is high quality stocks, precious metals, including gold and silver, real estate, which is obviously why you're here, have traditionally been great safeguards against inflationary pressures, meaning if cost of goods, what is inflation? Maybe we need to spend a few minutes talking about that. Inflation basically means if a gallon of milk cost you $2 yesterday and it costs you $2.50 tomorrow, the inflation is the price that went up for the same goods or services. And so the question is well, if you want to invest, how do you do that if inflation's happening? And real estate's one of the best ones because you'll typically see rents go up and you'll see property values go up if it is an inflationary market. What we know about changes to lending rules and how real estate professionals should prepare. According to Forbes, one of the things we need to be aware of is Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are buying fewer second homes and fewer investment properties. You see, when a mortgage broker does a loan, they have to get that money back or recapitalize that money. And they typically do that by packaging up and selling to a secondary market or directly working with a secondary market to fund that. So what that means is Fannie and Freddie are going to be doing less investment deals. So one of the restrictions is 7% limit on acquisition of single family mortgage loans. So basically means only if they're going to do 100 loans, only 7 of those can be for second homes or for investment properties. Let's see here. If you've already been pre-qualified by a lender, don't be shocked to see a surcharge or even getting a loan denial because conventional lending is still offered, but it's likely to be at a higher premium. So be aware of here if you're looking to do any of those BRRRR type deals, it's going to be a little tighter and the interest rate's probably going to be a little bit higher. I still don't think you're going to have problems getting them done, but you are going to pay a little bit more for that. Rates are at all-time lows still, even though we've started to see them creep up. In the housing market, is the housing market about to crash? Here's why experts say the answer is no. There's 6 compelling reasons. Inventories are at record lows. Builders can't build quickly enough to meet the demand. Mortgage rates still remain near historic lows. Demographic trends are creating new buyers. Lending standards are remaining strict, and foreclosure activity is muted at the moment. So, how the U.S. housing market was rocketed by COVID-19 and where are we really going to go from here, guys? The lack of existing homes is only part of the problem. Builders are struggling to ramp up new construction, specifically in single-family houses. So once the foreclosure moratorium ends, according to Realtor.com, homeowners who have been able to financially rebound from the crisis may be forced to sell their homes. This could also add to the supply of properties on the market. That will help alleviate scarcity concerns, or so we're hoping. 2.72 million homes remain in forbearance. It'll be interesting to see as those get lifted. Let's see, we've talked about builders struggling to ramp up as well. All right, guys, what is happening in your area? I'd be interested to know, Roger, what are you seeing in Georgia? Cynthia, I can't remember, where are you at, Cynthia? Durham, North Carolina. We got some Illinois. Ronald, what's going on there? Give me some idea of what you're seeing in your marketplace. Are you starting to see a little bit less of the heat on the real estate market, or is it just remaining white fire hot? Okay, every single week we're doing a property finding tip of the week, and it is that time of the day, this time of the live cast, to actually get into our property finding tip of the week. And today it's called running into properties. Well, not literally, but I'll be interested if you know what I'm talking about here. So, when you're out running errands, you're taking the kids to school, you're going to work, whatever the case is, you need to be on the lookout for bad houses. If you see a house that looks like it's in bad shape, stop. Write down the address, take a picture of it. If you've got our Investor's Edge software, you can literally just get it right from your phone and you can tag it so that you can be using that. And so, what are you actually looking for? Well, you're looking for houses that have a bad roof or a blue tarp. You're looking for broken or boarded up windows. You're looking for construction materials or gutter disrepairs, a legal notice taped to the door. We're seeing fewer of those, but they'll come back here when the moratoriums and those things end. It's missing siding. There's no blinds, no coverings over the windows, drapes, blinds, that type of stuff. The lawn's just completely overgrown. There's peeling paint. There's excessive depending upon the time of year, but excessive overgrown or excessive snow that hasn't been shoveled, trash or debris, snow and no tire tracks. The property's vacant, bad siding. There's a broken down car. There's fire damage to the property, a handicapped ramp, a long grass, moving boxes, an overstuffed mailbox, dead vegetation, the whole thing's just dead. If you see any of these things on a property when you're driving around, you want to get the address. If you've got our Investor's Edge, you want to pull up your app and you want to tap on that property and save it. Okay. This is just in your ordinary driving around. Then you need to find out if there is equity in the property. And you can just do a quick search by the address and you can look for the opportunity. There's one I wanted to show you, 8307. Let's just pull this one up. This is one that I found. Whoops, this is one I found driving around the other day. I just sent a postcard over. We'll see what happens on that. But let's see, let's just come here. Now you can do this on your mobile device too if you, whoa, what just happened there? There we go. You can do this on your mobile device too if you're a member, but let's just take this property. So the first thing I want to understand is what is the opportunity here, okay? So the estimate, we think they owe $285,000 on it. And we think the properties were somewhere around $374,000. So it just depends. So we're saying there's $88,000 of equity in here. This is who the owner of the property is, and this is the mailing address, which is the same as the property address. So we know that they're actually living in the property. So I know there's some value here. So the next thing that I can do is I can actually save this property, or I can put it in and I can actually go market to this person. Okay, so there's a couple of ways I can do this. I can add it to a group. Let's just add to, oh, I've got so many testing groups in here. Let's just do test livecast, okay? So once I do that and I add this to a group, the next thing that I'm going to be doing is how do I contact them, okay? So what I want to do is I can actually just skip trace. I can come here, I can select the group. Oh boy, we got lots of testing, test livecast. Let's do that. It's Jeffrey Long. I can put done. Whoops. I can select him and then I can actually skip trace, which I don't want to exactly do that on here because I don't want to show his name and all that type of stuff as we're doing it. But there's add selected contacts. Let's say we're going to do that one and hit the done key. Where's one contact, I just hit next. It's 12 cents to do that. I place my order. I validate I'm not going to call him when I shouldn't, do all that type of fun stuff. And then we're going to have his information here when we come back to contacts. So his name was Jeffrey, and we're going to come here to Jeffrey Long, and that's what we're going to be getting is his phone numbers and everything else like that from the skip trace. So I don't want to show them to you because I don't want everybody trying to call him or whatever the case is. But once you do that, you go through the skip trace, then you don't need a skip trace to actually do the postcards. But you can come here, you can do one postcard. I recommend the 4.25 by 6. I can just hit next here. I can decide which postcard I want. You don't need a graphic designer or anything else like that. And then you can just come in here, you can edit your information, and you can decide who you want to send it to. So if I want to just send this over, I got to find that test group and add selected. That's the wrong test group, it looks like. I don't know. Let's just choose one of these. Add contacts. So I'm going to find one of these, and then I am going to, let's just take that guy, for instance. I am going to, oops, we don't want all those. Let's take this one. And then add selected contacts. Oh, they're just going to put all 1,200 of them there. Anyway, you get the idea here. Once I get that, I hit the button. It will print and mail. I actually find it a little bit easier on the mobile device if you're doing just one-off, if you're driving around, which is the whole thing of actually running into properties, right? So that's what we're talking about here today in our finding tip of the week. This whole concept. So I want to find out if there's equity in the property. I look at the opportunity and I see if it's there. Then I want to contact them. I can send a postcard. I can do a skip trace. I can just call them once I do the skip trace. I can send them a text message. I can hit the voice broadcast. If you're doing a bunch of these on the computer, is going to be the best. If you're doing them one at a time, you're going to be best if you're actually using the mobile device. All right, guys, let's jump into the mindset of a real estate investor. But it looks like we are frozen here. There we go. The main event here. Let's see, but let me jump back. Cynthia Brown here in Durham, North Carolina. It is hot. Houses are going up for sale every day. Yeah. How long are they taking to sell would be a question I'd be interested in. What's the average time on market? All right, guys, let's jump into this. The mindset of a successful real estate investor. What do you need to know that's going to make you successful? We're going to talk about the traits you need to have to be a successful investor, how failure can actually help you succeed. We're going to have an inspirational story of success and failure. So first and foremost, you've got to have a long-term vision. Most people want to be an overnight success, and it rarely happens. Most overnight successes are in 10 years in the making. A great example of this is the Dollar Shave Club. You see, the guy that wanted to start the Dollar Shave Club actually went to school for a long time. And then he decided he wanted to use humor to help him, which is why the video actually went viral. But it really didn't go viral because he made lots of plans for it to happen. Went to a night school and became a stand-up comedian so that he could build the right things. He ended up trying to figure out how to fund this thing after he had the idea. And 10 years later, this YouTube video comes to light and goes viral, and he's an overnight success that was 10 years in the making. And that's what I think most things, every time someone is talking about somebody, oh, they're doing this, they're doing amazing, they're doing that, it's usually because of a lot of work that you didn't see leading up to that event. So one of the things you've got to have to be successful is being willing to learn. Always being willing to learn, understanding they have something to learn from everyone, and looking for ways that they can learn is one of the big keys to being a successful real estate investor, having the right mindset. Also finding joy in the learning. If you're like, oh man, I got to go to another live cast, I've got to listen to another podcast, I've got to, go to a course. If you don't enjoy that or find the joy in the learning, you're going to have a hard time. And if you don't believe me, listen to Steve Jobs, learning continually. There's always one more thing to learn. This is a guy that changed the world in massive ways. So next thing I want to talk about here is don't being fearful of failing. Be willing to fail. Look at failure as part of the process of learning. There is risk in anything that you want to do. There is always risk. So you've got to decide how much risk is acceptable. What's an acceptable versus an unacceptable amount of risk that I'm willing to take on? And so you follow the system that other people have done before you. This is what helps eliminate risk. If you know other people have had success doing this, your odds of having success go up incrementally if you follow that same thing. That's one of the reasons why chain restaurants are so valuable. You see, most restaurants fail, and they fail really quickly. It's like 90% of restaurants, but the vast majority of franchises end up succeeding. Well, why do they, or franchise restaurants end up succeeding? The question is, well, why? Well, because they have a proven system that they follow, which helps cut down on the amount of risk that they're having to take because it's already been proven at least once before. Now, that doesn't automatically mean it'll be successful, but it gives it a huge advantage. Be willing to make some mistakes and plan on making some mistakes. I love this quote. This is Michael Jordan. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I have failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. Michael Jordan. So you've got to be willing to invest in yourself. You've got to be willing to invest in learning. You've got to understand and learn real estate investing. You've got to spend time learning softwares and how to utilize softwares appropriately. It takes time and it takes effort to learn new things. It doesn't just happen by osmosis. You've got to take the space and the time to make those things a reality. You see, continuously learning. A setback is a learning experience. I love this quote by Thomas Edison. I just found 2,000 ways not to make a light bulb. I only needed to find out one way to make it work. See, this is the guy that was thought of as not being very smart. As a matter of fact, his school teacher said, I'm going to get the quote wrong, but he wouldn't amount to anything, or he got expelled from school. In the end, this is the guy that revolutionized the world by inventing the light bulb. But this also applies to our real estate investing, that it's going to take time and effort, and you've got to find 2,000 properties before you find the right one. Doesn't mean you make 2,000 offers, but you've got to do a lot of work to find the one, and that's what people don't understand, which gets into this being willing to put in the work. It's a grind, guys. It's a grind to find a property. I think that all the TV shows about fix and flipping and all those things make it look really easy to do this. And it's simple, but it's not easy. The process is simple, but it's actually hard to go through that. There are going to be lots of things you don't like doing, but you'll just need to do it. You might not like calling. You might not like the computer. You might not like using the software. You might not, there's things you're not going to like that you're just going to have to do. And as you get better, you'll be able to find help for that. You have to put in the time in order to get the returns. So this is how many hours it takes for you to master your craft. And the answer is 10,000 hours. 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 44 weeks a year for 5.5 years will get you to what's called a level of mastery for one specific thing. So I would submit that's what's going to take for you to get to a level of mastery of real estate investing. Now, most people don't have that much time. So how do you do it along the way? Well, you follow a proven system, you put in the time, you do a little bit at a time. And most people are looking for real estate investing as a supplementary and hopefully to turn into a full-time income. Some will do that and some won't want to because there's other advantages, but to supplement some income, which means you're going to have to get started on this. Okay, another thing that's going to make you the mindset of a successful real estate investor is your mindset. You've got to be positive. You've got to have a great attitude and look for the good in all things. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. Successful people hold themselves accountable. Okay, they are accountable. They realize success and failure is all on them. They don't blame others when things get hard. They don't make excuses. They take extreme ownership, which basically means if it's good, if it's bad, it's all up to me, and I am going to do whatever it takes to make it happen. Okay, let's talk about reverse engineering success, determining what they need to do each week to have success. So the idea is I'm here and I want to get here. What are the steps necessary to make that happen? Well, one of the things that we recommend is putting together a plan. And so this is what's called a next property roadmap is what we call it. And what we basically do is say, I don't have a property and I want to do a property. And so you say, well, how much time can I commit to driving per week? How many days a week am I willing to drive? How am I going to contact these people? Am I going to skip trace, make phone calls? How long am I going to be between properties? How many hours of driving? And so you put that together, and then you can put a plan together. So if you do 3 hours a week, 2 days a week, that basically, if you can get 20 properties an hour that you add to your list that are properties that are in need of repairs or problems, or have a blue tarp, or look like they're vacant, or anything that would give signs of any type of distress, you're going to need to do that for 35 weeks. And then you're going to need to call each one of those, which means you're going to be calling about 54 of those every single week to say, hey, do you have any interest in selling your property? So this is called reverse engineering your success based upon some historical trends and saying, great, how do I get to where I want to go? And that's by reverse engineering your success. Next thing for the mindset of a successful real estate investor is drafting by design, not by default. And what do I mean by that? Determine what is most important to you and make that happen. You're either going to make your own design, or you're going to be by default in someone else's design. So it's much better to know what you want and work towards that than be in someone else's design. Next thing we're talking about here is gratitude. Comparison is the thief of joy. I see too many new real estate investors looking at somebody that's many steps ahead of them and saying, oh, I should be there now, but they forget about the 10 years. The overnight success doesn't really happen. The work that goes into it, the reverse engineering, what needs to happen for you to get to where you want to go, all of those things are part what gets forgotten. And so then this comparison comes in, and it's the thief of joy and happiness. So being grateful regardless of the situation is really important. And it is frustrating when you have a deal that doesn't go like you think, or values don't come back like you were expecting, and you have some more to learn on those. That's frustrating, but it is part of this journey so you can get to where you want to go. Okay, decide to be happy now rather than conditioned upon future events. One of the things with this gratitude is like, I'll be happy when I find a property. Well, that's not going to work out all that well, because what you need to do is you need to decide to be happy now. And that's going to make it a lot easier for you to find a great property, because you'll have a great attitude and people will see that in you. Another thing here for the mindset of successful real estate investors is they know their strengths and delegate their weaknesses. They're like, these are things I'm great at, these are things I'm not. I'll get someone else to help me with those. And that may not be financially feasible right now as you're first getting started. And it may be, because you might be able to delegate that success to a computer system, or to a spouse, or to a business partner. There's multiple ways to make that happen. So you've got to get really good at analyzing what you're good at and what you're not good at. This is one of my favorite quotes when it comes to mindset of a real estate investor. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Theodore Roosevelt. You see, it's not the critic who counts. And this is one of the things that you're going to see in your real estate investing mindset is once you decide to do it, people are going to say, oh, I've heard someone else, it didn't go great, you shouldn't do this. You're going to hear all kinds of things about it. There's always going to be a critic that's going to say, oh, look, you didn't do this. And Theodore Roosevelt saying the credit belongs to the guy that's actually fighting. Even if he's bloody and sweaty, even if he errs, even if he has problems, at least he has spent himself in a worthy cause. And at best, he has triumph. And at worst, he fails, but he fails by daring greatly. And so he is not going to be around these cold and timid souls that know nor victory nor defeat. Like, at least you took a chance. And he's basically saying, wouldn't you rather be in the arena fighting, and even if you lose, at least you did it, than everybody else that's like, oh, you shouldn't do it. That's one of the mindsets of this real estate investing. Like, you've got to be willing to get in the game, and you've got to be willing to take a few punches. You've got to be willing to give a bunch of punches, and you might win and you might lose, but in the end, at least you took the chance, and you can look yourself in the face, look yourself in the mirror and say, yes, I did it. I took that chance. Now, there's a lot of things you can do to help not get knocked in the face by following a system and using the right softwares and a bunch of stuff that's going to help you, but you're still going to get punched in the face a few times. The question is if you're getting back up and what you're going to do about it. This is one of my heroes. His name's Rudyard Kipling. You may not recognize him at first glance, but I think you will in a minute, okay? Rudyard Kipling is best known for the book Jungle Book, Beluga. You know the story. You've seen it before. But he was born in India in 1865, Bombay, India. At the age of 6, he was sent to England for formal British education with a foster family called the Holloways. Mrs. Holloway was a brutal woman who despised her foster son, Rudyard. She beat him and bullied him. He was also bullied at school as well. With all this, he never told anyone. His only solace was in books and in studies, and he loved stories, and he loved to read. At the age of 11, he was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. A friend of the Kiplinger family went and stopped by the Holloways, and he found the conditions being horrible. And he told Rudyard's family, who came and rescued him because they had no idea. They thought they were doing the right thing to have him go to boarding school to get a great education and living with his family that they thought was wonderful. Years later, he moved to America. His writings became very popular and he made quite a large sum of money. He married his best friend and book publisher's sister and honeymooned to Canada and Japan. Well, what he found out is that his brother-in-law, the Oriental Bank Corporation, had failed and he had lost all of his money. All of it. They moved in with friends. Years later, they had children. He wrote the Jungle Book and had lots more success. He had a falling out with his best friend and his publisher, which was his brother-in-law. The fight with his publisher was on the front pages of the U.S. newspapers. He moved back to England. On a trip back to New York, he and his daughter got pneumonia. His daughter, Josephine, later died because of that pneumonia. World War I broke out, and he was encouraged his only son to enlist in the war. His son had an eyesight problem just like Rudyard did, and he was not allowed to enlist. However, Rudyard had some connections and managed to enlist him in the Irish Guard, and he was really proud of that. But less than a year later, they received word that his son was missing. Rudyard went to France to try and find his son in the war-torn country. His son's body was never recovered. He once again mourned the loss of his last child. With all of that, Rudyard Kipling wrote this poem that I think brings everything together with a mindset of a real estate investor. Please really listen to these words, knowing the background of this man and everything that he's been through. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting or being lied about, don't deal in lies. Or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet not look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truths you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools. Or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it in one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, if you can make a heap of all your winnings and risk it in one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again about your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on until there is nothing in you except the will that says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose your common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that is in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son. I think this best tells the mindset of a real estate investor. We're talking about these stories and things that we need to have, and knowing having the right mindset as a real estate investor is going to drive the success. All right, guys, if you would like to get our complete system to help take brand new investors through flipping their first home, this is a Find Fund Flip system. We have dozens of hours of training. We have deal finding software. We have access to 100% financing loans. All you've got to do is go to DoHardMoney.com/get started. DoHardMoney.com/get started. Now, I promised the ebook, How to Get More Money You Can Never Handle, a real estate investor's guide to funding deals. If you'd like to get a copy of this, all you got to do is text me your email address at 435-294-0433. 435-294-0433. If you've enjoyed this podcast or this live cast, please hit the thumbs up and hit the subscribe button and leave a comment. The biggest compliment you can give me is to tell someone else about it. Now, I'd love to know what future topics you would like to hear for livecasts. So please type them in the comments now and let me know what you'd like to have for some future topics. And hello, I'm a first timer. Thank you for being with us. I appreciate it, and love to have any questions you have. Just type them in the comments now. But if you can also type in any of these future topics you'd like to have for livecasts, that would be wonderful. Sorry, I need to grab a drink of water there. If you haven't already, get a copy of that free book, How to Get More Money You Can Never Handle, Real Estate Investor's Guide to Funding Deals. Just text me your email address to 435-294-0433. If you enjoyed what you heard today, check out my Income Hacker podcast. You can listen to it anywhere where Apple, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, and I would love to have you listen in there. Again, that ebook, you can text us your email address, 435-294-0433. Okay, it is that time, guys. Who wants to be our winner of the week? Last week winner has already been decided. You are this week looking for next week's winner. Our t-shirt winner of the week for last week is, drum roll please, Latanya Tinsley. Latanya, thank you for being with us, and thank you for being our winner of the week. All you've got to do is to claim, you've just got to email us. Email support at DoHardMoney. Put you're the t-shirt winner. Give us your name, your mailing address, your cell phone, and your t-shirt size. One thing we need to add to this, maybe Kate can help me with this. We need to add what shirt you'd like. Give us what's your top priority, and we'll get the best we can as long as we have them in stock with your size. We'll get you the closest we can, but we'll get you the shirt size. All those who participated last week, if you want, or this week, if you want to find out if you're the t-shirt winner, come next week, next Tuesday, same time, same place. Cynthia says she'd like to know more about Business Partner Deep Dive. that would be fantastic. I think I've got some info on that. Maybe Kate can help us. I think I've got a YouTube video on that as well, which Cynthia can help tide you over, I think, for the moment. If you haven't already, text me your email address, 435-294-0433. Text me your email address, and I will send you over that ebook, How to Get More Money You Can Never Handle. Next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, I'm going to be talking about what to look for in the best real estate investing software, what you should be looking for, what it needs to include, and so much more. So you're going to want to make sure you join us next week for that as well. Guys, I really appreciate you being with me. The mindset of the real estate investor is everything. If you don't have it right upstairs, you're not going to have the success that you're looking for. Make sure you get a copy of the free ebook at 435-294-0433. Text me your email address, and I will send you over that e-copy. You find out if you're the t-shirt winner next week by joining us next Tuesday, 6 p.m., where we'll be covering this amazing topic on the best real estate investment softwares and what you need to be looking for in them. Otherwise, guys, make it a very profitable day, and bye for now.